Alright, welcome everybody to part 4 of mixing with Waves plugins, where we're doing a mix with mostly Waves plugins, and we're also doing the same mix with stock Cubase plugins as well as Slate digital plugins, and at the very end we will go ahead and compare the 3 mixes and hear the difference in tonalities. So last time we worked on bass guitar, we've already done drums and mix bus. So today we're going to be doing electric guitars, and as far as electric guitars, I don't usually do too much. So let's go ahead and go through this, and then I'll talk about the things that I did, and you'll see that there's not very much going on. So let's go ahead and check it out, and then we'll talk about it.
I seem to hear is the sound of your laughter. And if you believe that I don't think about you, you should know to be so far without you. And when you hold my hand, it doesn't matter how far I may be. No, I'm home. I was there like a start. Gift of the present always lives in your heart. So let's enjoy our time. I'ma lean on you, you lean on me, so good when we're together. Hey, by now you should know I won't lose my way. Your love always saves me. Your love always saves me. stand in this room, finally alone, with a peace of mind that I've been searching for. And all I seem to hear is the sound of your laughter. And if you believe that I don't think about you, you should know it's hard to be so far without you. And when you hold my hand, it doesn't matter how far I may be, you know I'm home. Here we are, well I'm off again, going through this world.
Okay, so let's check out what's going on. So, as always, I've been using some tape saturation on the bus level. So that's really the reason why I'm using this Saphira is for the tape. But excuse me, but I also use the harmonics from this to kind of to me the Saphira plugin helps your analog emulated plugins sound more realistic, if that makes any sense. And to me, the presets on this are great. It took me a little bit to find it. I knew there was a clean guitar one on here, but I couldn't find it. I should have known that all these are in alphabetical order, but I didn't figure that out till afterwards. But this really, really helped it out. But it added a lot of gain, so I dialed the output back almost 7 dB. Then I went to the SSL channel and filtered off some low end as well as top end to make room for other instruments. Then cut out some of the mids to make room for the vocal, as well as some of the keys sounds. There's a piano in this as well as an organ. And to me, the hardest part of mixing this song is making room for the piano and organ. So I'm thinking about that before I even get to the piano and organ. And then also getting rid of some of the low mids, just to clean up the track. And then my favorite guitar, compressor, LA3A. I'm getting about 2 to 3 dB of gain reduction, except for in the very beginning when he really hits it hard. It gets about 5 dB of compression, which is fine. And this just really just so great on clean guitars. I don't use it much on distorted guitars. In fact, I don't use much compression at all on distorted guitars. Only on clean. Okay, going over to the track level, I used the Neve emulation on both, and I gave it a little bit of drive to make it a little more dirty. And let me pull up both of these EQs at the same time. So what I did was I rolled off some low end on the left and the right, and then for every other change that I did the same thing on the right side, but opposite. So you can see it's the same frequencies, but where I did a cut on the left side, I did a boost on the right side. Okay, and that's called complementary EQ, and that really just gives you a different. It gives you some separation in your mix, and it kind of makes things sound a little more clear and a little bit wider even. Not that I'm really going for a real wide thing, but I want these to sound different. Okay, so just know that whatever I say on the left side, I'm doing the same on the other side, but opposite. Okay, so a cut here at 10K, a boost here at 5K, just to get a little bit more of that upper mid sound to make it cut through the mix, but without getting in the way of the vocal and piano and everything. I'll be messing a lot with these high mid frequencies when I get to the vocals as well as the keys. And then adding some body in here at 250. That's a really great frequency on guitar. As in on your 1073 you have 220, which is what I usually use on a guitar, and it sounds great. But for this, I'm just using the SSL. And like I said, this is just the opposite of that. Okay? So finally, I've done a video on this before, but I'll go ahead and explain what I'm doing here. So what I did was I used two different kinds of modulation. And usually what I'll do is I'll have it linked to the track. But to me, just some of these presets were great. And yeah, just getting two different kinds of modulation on the left and right can really make each side sound quite a bit different. And it does what I did with the EQ, basically. It gives it some separation and some width. And like I said, not that I'm trying to make this super wide, but to me this makes it have a lot of color. And it almost sounds like if you recorded the guitar with some pedals, which I love pedals. I'm a guitar player. I think most guitar players love pedals. And this is something that you can do during tracking is maybe have like a phaser on the left and then a flanger on the right, if you can separate your signal like that, which is, fairly easy to do. Another thing that I could have experimented with is having a delay on each channel and having them on two different delay times, but I didn't want to get into all that right now. So yeah, basically take away from this, use two different types of modulation with two different speeds, basically. And I used a flutter on the right side. So flutter is something that you get with tape. And you'll see when I get to the Slate digital mix, that's what I'm going to use as the modulation, is the flutter on both sides, but just different amounts, because they don't have any modulation plugins. That's your only kind of modulation with the Slate plugins. But yeah, this is a really, really cool way to get some separation and a unique character to any kind of sound. You could do this on vocals, organs, pretty much everything. And yeah, it's a really neat trick. So I hope you enjoyed that part. So that's basically it for guitars. Not too much going on there. Took me longer to explain it than to actually do it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned some new neat little tricks. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, you can give it a thumbs down. That's okay. You're entitled to your opinion, as I always say. If you really liked it, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you so very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.